Julian from Blood and Iron Martial Arts, here today to teach you how to create multiple choice drills. So once again for this episode, I'm going to have to require the help from our masked assistant. It's proven to be quite helpful lately. When it comes to applying new skills, sports scientists show us that the absolute best way to do this is via multiple choice drills, where the participant is successful 2/3 of the time. At least that's what years of education in the field keep telling me. So for an example, let's say I want to work on my ox guard counter. My opponent throws a downward cut to my head, I block in my ox guard, and then I counter. This is all well and good, but my brain is so good at compartmentalizing that it kind of just shuffles that away in its own little area because there's only one stimuli and I know exactly what it is. In this case, a downward cut. That doesn't sound very much like sparring, does it? Instead, what you want to have is multiple stimuli, so then that way you have to choose which skill you want to use depending on the situation. So let's use the previous example. Instead of just throwing descending cuts to my head, my opponent or training partner may once in a while throw an ascending cut. From here, you could practice going to your plow, so you can keep your point on line. Or you can practice your crooked cut. Either way, it doesn't really matter too much. The whole point is you're failing roughly 2/3 of the time. If you're succeeding every single time, it's too easy. If you're screwing up every time, it's too hard. So you have to modify as necessary. Now, as with everything, there is a caveat. You need to be able to perform the skill with decent form prior to implementing it to a multiple choice drill. The National Canadian Certification Program does recommend that the athlete is able to perform the skill without the need for major corrections prior. So let's use the ox guard as an example. If your ox guard is mechanically broken due to weak positions, which we have made a video about by the way, then you're going to have to take that a step back and work on the fundamental skill before implementing it to a multiple choice drill. Here's an example using two stimuli which are based more on feeling than something visual with the messer. Both cases, my opponent throws an undercut at me and I'm going to block using a crooked cut. The first example is maybe the bind goes weak or I broke the structure, which then all I have to do is wind my point in for Butyrin. The other option is, as soon as contact is made, he cuts around to the opposite quadrant, which then I will want to do an anger strike or a zwerchhau. The main takeaway from this is that you want to increase the number of stimuli in order to more closely relate your drilling to your actual fighting. That magic number is 2/3, so there are lots of different ways to actually change the difficulty overall. You can have your training partner go a little bit slower if it's too hard, or go a little bit faster if it's too easy. They can change the number of stimuli to just match your needs. All of this is quite difficult, but at the end of the day, if you're not going to put in the training, you're not going to get those results. Remember, that magic success rate is about 2/3, so if something's just not working out for you, take it back to your fundamentals, work on it a little bit. I tried to keep a straight face. All right, no, I can do it.